Oh, my baby. Oh. Hey, everybody. How's it going? I know. The title says CB300F. And you're like, Brap, what the fuck are we doing looking at a WR250R? We'll get to that as soon as I get finished rolling the disclaimer and the intro. Well, I figure because I'm so in love with the WR250R.
What the fuck?
That it would be unfair for me to review the CB300F. And with that, let me introduce you guys to the fuck. Oh fuck. Roll music, cue the footage. My smoking hot wife, Mrs. Brapbarian, and her CB300F. So babe, this is your 2016 Honda CB300F. On a scale of 1 being bad and 10 being awesome, what do you rate this bike at?
I'd probably give it about a 7.5, 8.
7.5 and an 8?
Yeah.
Because it's a 7.5 or an 8, there's probably some things you don't like about it.
Exactly.
What are the things that you don't like about your bike?
The very first thing that I don't like about the bike is actually on the other side, which is that god-awful exhaust.
All right.
It looks like I have a vacuum cleaner attached to the side of my bike.
And
the second thing, which is not a huge thing, and I'm sure I'll get used to it as I ride it more, is it is kind of heavy. Being 5 foot tall and 135 pounds, it gets a little intimidating sometimes, but I'm working through it. I've dropped it once. There's no shame in that. I did drop it. As you can see, there's no major damage to it after the drop, but I dropped it. And finally, this thing right here with the Shrek ears,
yep,
is hideous.
It's hideous.
So we'll have to get rid of that.
All right. So with it being a 7 or a 10, there are some things you like about it.
What do I love about this bike?
What do you love about the bike?
Well, it's not too pretty boy sport bike. I don't know, it's very slim and sleek, and I mean, it fits me. It's not too over the top, it's not too dirt bike, and like I said, it's not a pretty boy bike.
So what are your experiences on a street bike?
0.
So this is your first street bike?
Absolutely, very first street bike ever. I've only ever ridden on the back of one. I grew up with those.
You grew up with that?
Dirt bikes for days. I've never ridden on the street. I've only ever ridden in the dirt.
When was the last time, and this might show your age, when was the last time you rode a motorcycle, period? Like, you drove it?
The last time I rode a motorcycle, period, was probably when I was about 14 years old. And I am 38 years old, so...
All right.
Do the math.
It's been a while, and so this is your beginner street bike.
Yes.
Now, why did you pick this bike over, say, something like a Grom or a Z125?
Because I didn't want to die on the highway.
So you plan on getting up on some little stretches of highway, and you needed something that'll do highway speeds, correct?
Yes, quickly.
All right. So you picked the CB300F. What were other bikes that you looked at before you picked this bike?
Really the only other bike that we looked at that would fit me because of how short I am is the KTM Duke 390. I tried out last year's model and it was okay. I didn't mind it, but I really fell in love with the 2017. However, anyone that knows me knows I'm very impatient and did not want to wait until the end of summer, beginning of fall to get a bike, because I wanted to enjoy this season.
What are things that you look to change on this motorcycle here? What do you want to do? What do you want to add to it to make it yours?
the very first thing that's going to happen, and it is sitting at home on our kitchen table, is the exhaust is going. The vacuum canister is getting off the bike. One of Mr. Brap's viewers was gracious enough to send me one that his wife has the exact bike. Yes?
Yes.
She has the exact bike, and he had 2 exhausts, and he offered this one, he offered the one that's at home to me to put on my bike, so I just have to make time after all of the torrential downpours to get it over to someone to get it onto my bike. Next up is most likely going to be the fender eliminator kit to get that off of there, get the Shrek ears repositioned or gone for good, whatever. And then after that, I love the black, but I don't love the shiny. So I'm hoping to take it to get it wrapped, or we have a friend that owns a car restoration place, and maybe he can paint it for me.
Okay.
And get all the shiny off and make it mine. I'm not going girly. I'm not doing ribbons and bows and pink and glitter and blah blah blah. This thing is going flat black, and if ever there is a decal that goes on there, we will have some sort of Star Wars masterpiece put on it.
All right. So your mods are going to exist of exhaust, fender eliminator kit, flat black the paint.
Yeah, and possibly this is a maybe, I haven't decided yet, getting rid of these giant mirrors, but we'll see.
I found when I rode the bike home for the first time, I kind of liked the mirrors. They're not the big gaudy square circle mirrors. They have a good design to them that matches the bike, and they function really well.
Yeah. So I said, we'll see. If there's other options that are a little bit shorter, I might go with it. If not, then they'll stay. I know Mr. Brap, after I dropped the bike, and you can see right here, the aftermath of that drop, wants to put some hand guards on there, so if by chance I do drop it again, I don't break something.
So, and let me tell you guys, the dropping on the bike was in the driveway. She lost her balance and basically fell over with the bike.
Before it was lowered.
Yeah. There is a little nick on the exhaust canister, a little nick on the rear brake peg, bar end, lever, and the lever bent out, and I bent it back in place. We want to get maybe some shorty levers, right? I would like to, because it's her first bike and she's probably going to drop it again, you know, hope not, hope everything goes good, she picks it up, maybe put some crash bars on it and a set of hand guards to protect the levers, because Lord knows, especially on clutch side, if you break a clutch lever out wherever, it is a pain in the ass to get back. Well, babe, I think that wraps up the walk around on your 2016 Honda CB300F.
We did forget one thing.
What's that?
We did lower this.
That is correct. It has been modified already. Let me see if we can get down here and look at it. But right there is a set of Soupy Performance lowering links for the bike. We lowered it 2 inches in the rear, dropped the front a ½ an inch, and now she can get on the balls of her feet on the bike. Before, she was on the very tips of her toes. She is 5 foot even. She has a 29-inch inseam, and that's where she sat with it. We could have got the lowered seat, but reading other reviews really didn't give them that much, probably like an inch. So I would have had to bought the super lowering links anyway. So we went with that right off the bat. I would probably later on pick up the lower comfy seat, and that way I can raise the rear end back up another inch, because there is not a lot of clearance between the rear tire and the subframe.
Yes, we definitely cannot ride 2 up on this bike anymore.
Yeah, can't ride 2 up on it anymore. With that said, I think we're gonna head out and enjoy the rest of this beautiful day.
And try not to get blown off to the land of Oz.
Yeah, it is kind of windy. I did a re-re.